World Series is the Toronto Blue Jays against the LA Dodgers. How many of you guys had that on your scorecard at the beginning of the season? But I'll tell you what, that was an epic matchup between the Mariners and the Blue Jays. And it goes to show you just all of those moves that you make, all those players that you trade. Is it worth it if you lose game 7 and you don't make it to the series? We're going to talk about that because one of the topics that I want to get into today is Tarik Skubal. Could the Cubs be interested in making a Kyle Tucker type of trade with the Tigers to get Skubal? If you can get this guy, I'm going to tell you why I would do it. William Contreras, we've been talking about him since being trolled after losing that divisional round series to the Brewers. He made actually a pretty funny post with AI, I thought, making fun of the Brewers and the Cubs. And Justin Steele's back on the mound. All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell. Let's get this thing started. Good to see you guys. And again, go Cubs. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball channel. And I'm telling you right now, been a Cubs fan for a long, long time. Longer than I would like to admit I've been alive, right? But for 40 years plus. And I look at some of these, like, I don't know, rumors, and I'm like, but then I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's something to it. And I want to start the show with the Tarik Skubal trade rumor, right? And it's not really a trade rumor, but it's more of if the Tigers can't get a long-term extension, which if I'm him, I'm not signing, but maybe I am. I guess with the maybe a labor stoppage, you feel like maybe you need to do something, but whatever happens, right? Skubal to the Cubs in a blockbuster trade. Now, I'm looking at it and I'm going, last year, if you would have said right now, a year ago, Cubs are going to trade for Kyle Tucker, how many of you would have said, yeah, that's going to happen? And how many of you guys would have been like, yeah, they're not doing it? And that's what happened. But the Cubs gave a heavy ransom to do it, right? But they had a playoff run, and if they would have been in a division that didn't have the Brewers, they would have been a division champ. But they made the playoffs and won a series and lost in a winner-take-all game to Milwaukee. And had they had home field advantage, I think they'd have won that and then lost to the Dodgers. But nonetheless, if you had an opportunity to sign one player and you were looking for that guy who could make the most impact, I'm telling you, Tarik Skubal's that guy for me. I've always been a pitching and defense first guy. And I just can't imagine a world where the Tigers would trade him. You're talking about a team that got to the postseason. They won a series. They lost to the Mariners in an epic 15-inning battle. This guy started the game. He did a great job. He is what you hope you get once a generation. And someone, if it's not the Tigers, is going to pay this guy a lot of money. But this is the guy you pay the money to. He's a former Cy Young Award winner, Skubal. And that was last year with the Tigers, 18-4. He had a 2.39 ERA. This year, he went 13-6 and had a 2.21 ERA. The last 2 years, the guy's pitched 31 starts. And he's thrown over 192 innings both seasons. He's a strikeout machine. He is a beast. And in his young career, which is only 6 years long, he's 54-37 with a 3.08 ERA. 6'3", 240 pounds. He's a left-hander. He is as good as it gets in the game of baseball. I think he's the best pitcher in the game. I just do. And if you put him in the Cubs rotation immediately, this feels like a World Series contender. Because he's going straight to the top, and then everybody's going to slot down. Now, the Cubs have kind of shown us that they're not spending the major bucks in the free agent game, and that could change this offseason. But when they won the World Series, remember, they went out and they spent the money, and they brought in John Lester, who could have signed anywhere. And that move was what catapulted the Cubs to contender status from pretender status. So if it's me, this is something that I would do. What would you have to give up to get him? Jackson Wiggins? Would you give up Jackson Wiggins for a year of Skubal? I would, and I love Wiggins. But my plan would be, hey, I'm getting him, and then I'm going to pay the money it takes to keep him. And I'm building my roster around him. And I'm sure the Tigers are thinking the same thing. But would the Tigers really trade him if they don't get a long-term deal done? Houston did. Something tells me that the Tigers are going to spend the money. They have to know what a gem they have. And Skubal. So I just can't, to be honest with you, seriously think that this is something that could happen. I'm seeing reports, I'm reading, hey, look, it sounds like it's something that is a possibility if he doesn't sign long-term, and it's worth talking about because people are writing about it. But if I was the Cubs and I had an opportunity to seize this, I would. And this is what made Theo Epstein arguably the greatest front office guy of all time, right? Because he ended the curse of the Bambino, and then he ended the curse of the Goat. The Red Sox have won championships since him. The Cubs haven't. But the guy knew when there was an opportunity to snag elite talent, he did it. And if they leave this door open, and Jed Hoyer and the Cubs are smart, they'll do whatever it takes to get him. And they'll do whatever it takes to keep him. Because Skubal is that guy. He's that good. And I think if any of you guys have seen him pitch, you know that. And I don't think I'm saying anything out of turn here. But the question is will he be available? And I don't know the answer to that. Guys, our channel is presented by AveD. Join Mick Nation. Be the next person to win a Cubs Baseball Channel hat. We got shirts. We got Hawaiian shirts. We got other stuff coming your way. But these hats right now, they're hot off the presses. I want you guys to win one or buy one, but I really prefer you to win one. And all you got to do is hit that QR code right now there. Join Mick Nation. Pick the World Series. Pick college football games. We'll throw some NFL in there. We give away cash prizes each week. And it's, it's fun. Look, it takes a little while to navigate through AveD, but once you figure it out, it's just easy. And I'm known for picking the Alabama versus Louisiana Monroe score within 2 points. It was 73-0. I put 75-0. And they're like, hey, how did you get that right? I don't know. I wish I would have got the Cubs playoff against the Brewers right, because I had them winning and we didn't win. So it would have been nice to win. But you guys take advantage of that. All right, look, William Contreras is the brother of Wilson Contreras. And I love Willie. Look, he came up with the Cubs. I know him. And I've always admired. He was our catcher for the World Series team. The first was a rookie catching Game 7 of the World Series and winning. But now he's with the Cardinals. His younger brother's with the Brewers. And William trolling us after the Brewers beat the Cubs, right? The L flag, we didn't like that. I didn't like that. The mocking of Harry Carey's Cubs winning call, but saying that the Cubs lose. So the Dodgers swept the Brewers right off of the field. And William, I'm going to put this up here. He re-shared this Instagram video, which is pretty funny.
Welcome to Cancun, fellas. Appreciate it, man. Glad to be here.
It's the Cubs and the Brewers in Cancun shaking each other's hands.
Can't beat that. All right, let's get everybody together for a quick photo. Sounds good. Brewers and Cubs.
That's it. Look, man, you want to play that game where you kind of troll. Like, hey, do it to yourself too. And, so tip of the cap to that. I wish that the Cubs and the Brewers weren't in Cancun in AI world. I wish that the Cubs were playing right now in the World Series, but it shows that he's got a good sense of humor. And, everybody's sitting back now and watching the Jays and the Dodgers, right? What do you think this World Series is going to do as far as ratings go? I've been kind of wondering that myself, right? Like, what's the ratings going to be on a World Series that features Toronto? And I was on here earlier this year, kind of, poking fun at the Blue Jays, and I got a lot of negative Blue Jay fan feedback. And I got to tell you, man, I was wrong. Those guys, they watching those playoff games, their fans got after it. So I'm not afraid to say, hey, maybe I was a little off base making fun of Toronto, calling them a hockey town. So, yeah, congratulations. And I'll be pulling for you guys in the World Series. All right, final topic on today's show. Justin Steele throwing again, getting his job as a pitcher back under his way. This is from Cub Zone. They got video of it, and there he is. Look at him. Let's look at him again. There he is, throwing the ball, looking good. Thank you to Cub Zone, one of the great channels that I follow and that I enjoy, and I also enjoy watching Cubs pitching get healthy. So Justin Steele, can you imagine just going back to Skubal? I don't, for 1 second, don't think that I'm saying the Cubs are going to get Tarik Skubal. I'm just saying I would do it if I could, if I was the Cubs. But if you had him, and then you had Steele, and you had Horton, and you had Tyone, who was actually a Bulldog in this postseason, by the way, be a pretty good looking rotation. Matthew Boyd be like your fourth or fifth guy if he could stay healthy. Good to see Justin Steele back out on the mound. And he's documenting his return from, his surgery, which is great as well. And, we'll see what happens. That's it for today's show. It's the off season. We're paying close attention to the World Series. How do you guys rate this World Series? What do you think about this matchup in the World Series? You like it? Were you disappointed that the Mariners blew that lead late? How disappointing was that? And how about some of these Astros? I mean, we have one, and Kyle Tucker had one. Springer hitting that 3-run clutch home run to put Toronto in the World Series. One of the biggest home runs in, playoff history. How about Seattle? Like the big dumper, what he was able to do, and how good that Mariners team was, and the fact that they went in and they traded all those guys to try to build their roster, and then it happens. They get to the postseason and they come up a game short. Really 2 innings short. Is it worth it? You guys tell me. All right, that's it for the show. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. I haven't forgot about you guys, you Cardinals, but, today we weren't really thinking about you a whole lot. Appreciate all the comments. Love all of you guys for supporting the channel. It's just crazy. Like I'm wondering, like the season ends. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do any shows. I'm pretty disappointed. I'm bummed out. And you guys just show up. And I'm like, hey, if you're showing up, I'm showing up. We're doing this together. So anyway, but look, love you guys. Thank you for hanging. And we'll do it again tomorrow. Go Cubs. Hey, I want to remind you too, you're looking for a vacation spot. You need to think about Sevierville, Tennessee, in the Smoky Mountains. Folks from Chicago, Iowa, Indiana, looking for kind of that mountain vibe. It's right there in front of you. Great time of year to do it right now. Check it out.
When you head to the Smoky Mountains, it's only natural to visit Sevierville.
Even we had to check it out.
And we've been here our whole lives.
Experience the adventure of a lifetime.
I'm king of the world.
Even you can get a bird's eye view of the Smokies.
You're going down, Billy. Whoa.
Your Smokies start here.